Hi, welcome back to It's Loud in Here in my closet. I just about threw my computer through the wall. I am not one of those people who is tech savvy, and I have just been in a fight with my sound system for the past 2.5 hours. I've been trying to figure out how to make sound happen on this thing. So I did it. You're welcome. Look what you get. Yay. And now we have seen every version of my quaff. So it's Monday. It's the day after daylight savings. We sprung forward. And I gotta say, I don't like it. I don't like it at all. I don't normally get bothered by it. And yesterday I was very tired. And then today it felt like someone stole an hour of my soul. And I didn't like it this morning at all. So I am definitely team let's stop doing this to ourselves, because you can actually do farm work at night now. They have lights. Electricity is a thing. We're not running on oil lamps. So I feel like we could probably squash this and just live at this hour in perpetuity. So I cleaned 3 houses today, and the weekend was super uneventful because I got a tattoo on Friday after work, and I spent from 1 o'clock until 10:30 at the tattoo parlor, and it was like 6 hours of tattooing. And I know they like to say that men are babies. I'm a whole ass baby. If I'm in pain, I shut down. If I'm sick, it's like the world has ended, and I either really want someone to take care of me or please stay away and leave me alone. So I chose to get my bulldog is very much alive. I'm going to lead with that, but I got his picture tattooed on my calf, and so walking hurt on Saturday, so I just didn't do much this weekend, which was nice. But screw daylight savings. So before I get into what I was actually thinking about today, if you listened before, I talked about how it's crazy to me how so many people who were raised in like similar avenues and areas and schools of thought and stuff just end up in such different paths. And I feel like driving is universal, right? Like all of our laws. I've already talked about this. I don't know. But between yesterday and today, I had some severe road rage. Pennsylvania, God, I cannot stand getting stuck behind someone from Pennsylvania at all. And why does it always happen when you're getting on and off the interstate? Like, God knows how many accidents are caused because of on and off ramps. Like, we had that fire in Frederick one year, and it was a tanker exploded, and it was right at the edge of actually where I live, 7th Street. It was right by some houses, and so one of the houses caught fire, and it was this huge to do. And then people were talking about that's not safe living here. Well, you've lived here for all these years. Those are old ass houses. Come on, that's not real. But it is real that we don't have merge lanes in Maryland, and people love to stop on an on ramp. Man, it's so I've been stuck the past couple days behind some pretty terrible drivers. And if you have to drive slow because I don't know, because you're timid or scared or weak, or you have no idea how to drive around other people and actually accept the flow of traffic, fine, get over. Right lane for you. Right lane for you. Stay out of my way. And again, I don't know if I said this before, but Virginia, you and your little 80 miles an hour or anything over is reckless driving does not exist in all the other states. So don't come to Virginia and get in the left lane and assume 80 miles an hour is fast enough, because we don't have to stop at 80 here. Dicks. So, but yeah, I feel like, how to drive really is. It's universal. Minus when you have to drive on the other side of the road in some places. St. Croix. So, I have just severely wanted to murder people on the road recently. I'd love to say it's my period, but I just had that. So it literally is. It's just you. It's just you and you're driving. So I watched Landman this weekend when I wasn't doing anything. And if you have watched that show, it's brilliant. And if you haven't watched that show, it's brilliant. And in episode 3, we see Ali Larter's boobies. And first of all, Ali Larter, thank you. And I know, again, no one's ever going to see this thing, but thank you very much. Those are wonderful boobies. You are doing the world a favor. Mom, any family members, you can stop listening to this, because this podcast is about sex. So, to anybody who's going to get uncomfortable who knows me, bye. So I was watching this show, and again, Ali Larter, you are fighting the good fight with those boobies, girl. I don't know if they're real, but God, they look real and nice. I am happy to have been a part of that episode. But so the daughter in that show, she's just hypersexual for 17, and some of it I feel like comes from being the girl that wants the boyfriend, right? Like she's a cheerleader and she wants a quarterback and has all these plans for the rest of her life, and that's fine. I mean, it just got me thinking about girls and sex, and then women and sex, and again, family. If any of you actually listen to this thing, which I don't think you do, but if you do, and you want to, this is the time. So, I was a hypersexual kid. I think that, and I don't know if this is real for everybody, but I was really ticklish, and then I just have sensitive skin. I just do. It tends to be, if you touch me for long enough, it either feels like you're trying to burrow through my skin to China, and I want to punch you in the face, or I'm going to want to have sex with you. So, I knew from a very young age that I wanted to have sex. It took like getting felt up for the first time when I was more than just a washboard with nipples to know that I wanted to have sex. And I didn't necessarily do it the most honest way. My boyfriend at the time was not ready, and I'm a jerk, and I was very, you're young and you're selfish, and you don't know what you don't know about being an asshole. So he wasn't ready, so I found someone who would do it with me. And I am still friends with him, and we are both 43 years old. He is married very happily with a son, and he is a very sweet man. But I think that just from a very young age, it's just very evident that sex is not for women. And so in the show, the little girl, I mean, she's little girl, 17. So she's like doing a thing for her boyfriend or whatever, and she puts on like a negligee. And even that, like, lingerie is not comfortable, and we put it on as a seduction method for men. I would rather be in sweats. Sorry for your look. So I lost my virginity when I was 16 years old, again, to a guy who was a friend of mine at the time and is still friends. I still know him today, and he's very sweet. And it just was, I don't know, about a minute and a half. And I did not orgasm. This is the story of my life as a woman, and I'm pretty sure it's a story of most women's lives. And men, any of you men who watch this, you're going to be like, not me. Not me. I'm good at it. I do it better. They've never had. I can do. They don't know. Yes, we do. No, you can't. No, you can't. Just that's the end and the beginning. You think you can, you can't. You say you can, you don't. You say you don't know anything. And that is just the way it is with the women's body, right? So a minute and a half later, and I knew I wanted to do it again, and it wasn't as painful for me as it was for a lot of women, I don't think. I bled some, and he orgasmed, I did not. Right? Yay! And so that is how sexual exploration started for me. And I've had some very pleasant things done in my body, and I have had orgasms with men. I am not saying that I have not at all. Some men do really awesome things, but like on the whole, sex it's just not for women. It's for men. I don't know why that is. It just makes me giggle because anytime I don't orgasm from oral sex, it's very pleasant. It's pleasant. It's a precursor to what I actually want, which is sex. And throughout my life, it's the game of, well, you've just never had it the way. Nope, I don't orgasm that way. Or, I don't know why men are always in such a rush. Like, you go from kissing me to 2 seconds to pulling down my pants to slide inside of me, and then you're shocked that I don't orgasm. Well, whenever in that did I build up any kind of tension to actually orgasm, right? Like when? When was the build up? When was the announcement that we're gonna get there? It's not. It's never gonna happen that way. I don't know when. There's this movie, That Thing You Do, with Tom Hanks. I remember that movie, Liv Tyler. And in that movie, she has this line that I think about all the time. I gotta figure out this chair, man. I got this little chair because this is on my vanity, and this little rolly chair. Sometimes I just don't want to suck that. Oh, do you want to see my tattoo? I wonder if I can show you guys. Nope, on the other side. Oh, there it is. So it's a bulldog. No, one day we'll do a tattoo reveal because I got a lot. So in that thing you do, when Liv Tyler breaks up with her boyfriend, after their appearance on TV, she goes, Jimmy, that was his name in the movie. She goes, shame on me for kissing you with my eyes closed so tight. I love that line. I love that line because Charlie Sheen. Because I've dated guys before, and when we break up, I think about that, right? But there's this part at the end of the movie where the dude asks Liv Tyler, when was the last time you were kissed? And he's like good and proper kissed, right? And she thinks back. I mean, these kids are out of high school. And she says like 8th grade, right? 8th grade, spin the bottle. And I think about that sometimes because I don't know if you remember, but like before drinking hookups, right? Because that doesn't count for this because you can just be drunk and like make out and you don't get the butterflies. But I remember the first time with my first serious boyfriend when we were sitting on his couch in his basement watching a movie, and he was holding my hand and then he kissed me. And I remember that feeling like, oh God, I remember the butterflies. And the first time you held hands with someone and those butterflies, right? When the anticipation of being touched. And I remember making out for hours, like making out until your lips were chapped. I remember doing that. I love kissing. Oh God, kissing is my favorite. And it just, I remember what it felt like to have those butterflies. And I don't know when it turns. I don't know when it turns in relationships, like you've been together for too long and you don't do that. I don't know what age we stop doing that. I don't know what age it has to be that you make out because you have to have sex. I don't know when all these things happen, but I hate them. I hate all of them. And I think that all of that plays into why, it's harder for women to orgasm. I think that as time goes on, I think that things just become about how fast can you do it, I saw this little thingy once, Facebook or something, and some girl was like, I have sex for 45 minutes. Awesome. And I got chores and a job and dogs and like 45 minutes, get out of here. Miss me with that. That's nonsense. 45 minutes, who's got time for that? That's legitimately ridiculous. No one's got time to fuck for 45 minutes. Nobody. It's cool if you do. That's called vacation. Like go to the Poconos, I guess. 45 minutes, please, right? So, just don't have time for that. But like the idea that it's got to be quick, like the wham bam thank you ma'am thing, like that's not every time. It doesn't need to be like that. And I feel like there's some idea that we just hurry things along now. And in the process of that, I think what gets missed is women's orgasms. And I think that part of that is that we don't have conversations. Like men, I don't know what it is with you guys. Ask us what we like. Don't assume that we know. I slept with a dude one time, and the last 3 times we had sex, he did not notice that I did not orgasm, and he didn't care. And that's a problem. You should ask. When you're touching a woman, you should ask her if she likes it like that. Because a lot of you don't understand there is a very nuanced way to play with the lady bits. And all of us are different. There's a reason I am straight. There's a reason. I have been, I really hope no one in my family is listening to this. I know that I am very good at giving blowjobs, right? I know that. Here's why. I have been sucking dick since I was 15 years old, and I am 43. I have been sucking dick for 28 years. I enjoy it. I'm good at it. I have played in the playground of women only when I have been very, very, very intoxicated. And the lady bits, I love mine. Mine is a joy and a pleasure and a fantastic, like John Mayer's Your Body is a Wonderland may have in fact been written for my vagina. She is that fantastic. But the other ones are complicated. And on top of that, they come with a woman. And that changes the game because women are so much. And God bless all of you that are in partnerships, lesbians, whatever. I'm not going to be that politically correct. However it works, if there are 2 vaginas that happen to hang out with each other, that's synced uteruses and 2 periods. No, thank you. No, thank you. I don't want that. So, there just need to be more conversations around the woman's body. Like, and when Harry Met Sally, when they're sitting at the restaurant and she fakes the orgasm, you know how many men have told me? I would know. I would know if she was faking it. No, you wouldn't. Nope. No, you wouldn't. I have faked more orgasms in my life than I have had, period. I have, I just have faked more orgasms than I have had. End of story. It is what it is. It's exactly what it is. Sex is for men. Sex is for men. There aren't conversations about what we like better. God bless a man who will finger me until I come after he's done having sex. And by the way, and this is not a snub, man, all women know about erectile dysfunction, whether it's you cannot get hard or you come too fast. We don't care. We all know it exists. There are pills for that. You can either go to your doctor or even like Blue Chew, man. You can get that shit over the counter. That's like a website. Just get the pill. It's the same way that women... I'm in black leggings right now. We can see all the dog hair. It's the same way women, when they stop producing the liquid, man, they make lube. And I gotta tell you, I think that part of why women stop having sex at an older age, it has nothing to do with... like their body telling them they don't want sex anymore. Honest to God, I think that it is in relationships, we allow ourselves to become so friendly. We stop dating. Like I listen to all the comedy podcasts and the Kreischers, Bert, comedian. I'm a big fan. I love his wife. They're very cute. They started dating again like 2 years ago almost. And it changed their relationship because they brought the romance back into the narrative. Like, it's amazing to have your partner be your best friend. It's amazing. But that's not all they should be, because I've got a best friend named Kimberly, and I don't want to spend my time hanging out in her vagina, right? Because she's my best friend. So your partner shouldn't just be your best friend. They should absolutely 100% be your lover. And I think that that's why, like, I was in a marriage and we stopped having sex. And it was neither of a fault. You know, the marriage had been gone for a long time. But I also have the problem with rejection. One, because ego. Two, because ADHD. And rejection is a huge problem for me. And if I pursue you enough and I get rejected often enough, I'm done. I can't come back from that. The part of me that wants to seduce you or touch you or whatever, it assumes you're always going to say no, and I just can't handle that kind of rejection. So it turns into a platonic thing with me because my brain won't let me do otherwise. We've taken the fun, I think. I think that as we get older, we take all the fun out of sex. I'm not saying this across the board. I'm sure there are plenty of people out there with really healthy sex lives with their partner. I hope that there are people that are married who, you know, have sex like bunnies for the rest of their lives. I hope that everybody spends the rest of their lives acting like newlyweds. I think that would be perfect. I gotta tell you though, I don't think that's true for a lot of people. I've had enough experience in my life knowing a lot of married couples, having been married, having been a bartender and seen the other side of it, man. It tends to be that when I don't want to keep petting you. I love you so much though, but I'm not going to keep petting you. I think that it tends to be that as it gets harder to maintain the sexual relationship with the partner, it's sometimes, I've watched it. I've been a part of it when I was drinking. You know, it sometimes becomes easier to find something new and fun with someone else than it does to try to work on the thing that's kind of burnt out with the partner. It's just, you know, I've recently discovered that part of my problem is dopamine because I chase it in so many things. And one of the ways I chase it is 100% through men. So you're being very intrusive right now. Spent 6 hours getting his face on my leg, and all he's done since then is fart in my face. We're doing real big stuff over here. But yeah, I think that we've just, so not only do I think that, and I think okay, let's go with this. I think that's part of the problem with women, right? I think that when you take away any of the fun or the pursuit or like when you stop wanting that romantic connection, I think part of what you take away is the like the foreplay. Like, I'm not saying you got to spend 10 minutes pleasuring me before we have sex, but if you spend 10 minutes giving me attention, I will probably come a lot faster during sex. And man, I gotta tell you that I don't need you to do anything. This is my other thing. And all women talk about this. If we tell you we are close, don't move, don't ruin it. You guys ruin everything. All we want you to do is just lay there and not move. And we have to tell you, because if we don't and you move, you fuck that up too. I don't need you to do a thing. You, as a man with a penis, are the exact equivalent of me putting a penis, like a dildo, on a table and riding that thing. I can do what I need to do. I don't actually need you to be a part of it. Just don't fucking move. Don't move. And if you happen to have a smaller version, or, like when they're like, it's not the size of the boat, it's the motion of the ocean. There isn't such a thing as too small, man. It just is. Be good at the rest of the stuff. Figure out how to be good at the rest of the stuff. And I'm not talking about like with me, where it feels nice if you're going down to my downstairs. I mean, be good at it. I really think that there should be classes on sex. And I mean, I'm not talking about, and I do think like sex ed for sure, because I know way too many people, and this is no shade. I am not slamming anybody or judging anybody, but HPV, herpes, like I know people who do not tell people before they have sex. And one can cause cancer and one is permanent. And again, it's no shade. So many people have these diseases, but it's almost like there's not a narrative that people need to talk about it because everybody has it. No, you need to have the conversations before you ever sleep together. There should also be a conversation of likes and dislikes. Just first time you're having sex with someone, if you haven't talked about it, you probably shouldn't ask them to lick your asshole. That's a big ask out of someone you just hooked up with, right? Like you should. That's a fresh out of the shower. That's a conversation. I'm not saying it's a non-starter, but that's a conversation. Like, the people that just accidentally oopsies into the butthole, conversation. It's conversation. It's a conversation. All of them are conversation. One of my very best friends, lifelong best friends, she does not give blowjobs. She's never given blowjobs. She doesn't like them. Everybody has their likes and dislikes. And if you have those conversations before you ever actually do the things, then you might know if you're actually compatible sexually. Because sometimes you're just not compatible sexually. Sometimes some people like it dirty, or some people like it darker, some people, there's all the things. There's all the fetishes. I consider furries a fetish. I don't consider it a letter. You're not a cat. You just want to have sex in a costume. You don't need a litter box, you weirdo. There are conversations that need to be had. I think that there should be sex classes. And this, fine. Adults, fine. Because abstinence is a way to prevent, shut up. I think that there should be classes where they talk about how to actually pleasure a partner, be it woman or male. I mean, men, you guys are a lot easier. I'm not going to lie. It's just, you're simple creatures. Simple creatures. But women are not. Vaginas are a whole thing. Again, I've played in that playground. It's so aggressive. There should be a class. There should be a class on how to play with it. I also think that the narrative that women aren't as sexual as men, I think it's bogus. I think that if you hit your partner in the right way, she will be as sexual as possible. I am. I have always had a very high sex drive. I can normally out-sex drive my partners, as a matter of fact. I don't know why that is. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe it's just because I need so much dopamine. I want your attention and I want it in the form of sex. I have no idea, but I have always had a high sex drive. I also was thinking the other day about how nuts it is that I used to call my period my blowjob time. Right? So I didn't always have sex on my period, which is still not my favorite. I mean, when it's super, super heavy, there's not a chance. It's never, I've got a light period anyway, but I'm not big on that. And not in like, I'm not ever asking you to go diving for nickels. That's fucking disgusting. But I literally used to call having my period blowjob time. And I don't think I've ever had a partner be like, you know what I'm going to do right now? I'm just going to get you off for no reason. And I don't want anything. I'm just going to get you off. I've done that. I've done that plenty over my lifetime. Plenty. It has never been about me sexually. It's not about me sexually. It's crazy watching this teenage girl, figure out how to get her future husband with her body at 17 years old. I was just watching. I was like, we are trained monkeys to just monkey dance when it comes to sexuality and men. It is unreal. I figured out years ago, I love a massage. I told you guys, I wonder if they're all gone. That might be left over. I'm going actually Friday again to my sports masseuse for, that one's gone, for my bi-weekly sports massage. And I used to go, I got a Massage Envy membership, and I don't know what you guys do with your memberships, but I pay them and I never go. So I had for 3 months, I was able to get an hour and a half massage every other week because I had so many just massages saved up. And you cannot touch me that long without me getting aroused. I'm sorry. Especially those shiatsu massages, which I call genital to genital rubbing. You're not doing anything hard. You're not hurting me. There's no deep tissue, nothing. It's literally you just rubbing my skin for an hour and a half. I absolutely 100%. I get horny. So horny. And all I want after that is for someone to finger bang me, get me off, and walk out of the room. Just give me an orgasm and leave me alone. We 100% should legalize prostitution and tax the shit out of it. Just saying. I would love to be a madam. I would get you finger banged. Because it's never just been about me. It's never just been about me. And I think that that's true for most women. I think I've got a friend. She's a wonderful girl. I love her so much. She is the sweetest. And she told me one time, she was like, I always have sex because I know watching, her dad and stuff growing up, she's like, I learned a long time ago that if you want to keep a man, you want to keep him from going somewhere else, you have sex with him whenever he wants it, which is crazy because no one's ever looked at a woman and been like, I'm going to keep her. I'm just going to have a boner all the time, pocket full of Blue Chews. Men don't do that for women. We are trained to be little pleasure centers. And I just am blown away. It took me, the things, and then you sit and think about and watch a 17-year-old girl overperforming. And I was the one. I was the hypersexualized teenager. I was the one who couldn't wait for her boyfriend to be ready and had to cheat on him. That was me, 100%. So I am the one who should have the person coming home and be like, oh, you had a hard day, and drop to their knees. That should be for me all day, right? But that isn't the way our society is trained. It's just not, until 1993, women couldn't say no to their husbands. That's baffling because now I get migraines. And if someone tried to touch me when I had a migraine, I'd reach for scissors. I'd cut the dick off. No. Or I heard this story today about the woman with the most children in the world. I think in the world. 69 kids, 27 births. That person just kept having multiple kids. I don't know if this was this. I feel like it was IVF on purpose, hormones, whatever. But if you try to get me pregnant 27 times, I'd cut it off, bury it in the backyard. Let's talk about that. 27 times I got to be pregnant. So yeah, not until 1993 were we allowed to say no to our husbands because we are little pleasure centers made for men. Made for men, right? And the places that think that the clit doesn't exist, the clitoris. That clitoris, boys, I got to tell you, it's a happy little spot. This is the way the vagina looks. It's a nice little thing, right? Up here at the top, underneath the little ball. There's a little ball right there, right? It's also near the pee hole because they're not the same. And it doesn't come out of your vagina, men. We use more than one tampon during our period. And you just need to learn the anatomy of the vagina. It's a beautiful, beautiful place if you know how to play with it. And learning its parts will help you be able to play with it. And then you can learn how to rub it. And when you start rubbing it, you can ask if that's okay. Because honestly, I am not a piece of wood. And you do not need to try to set me on fire. So if you are making too much friction, no one is happy about it. No one's happy. I'm glad you're happy because you think you're doing a good job. You're not. And because your egos are fragile, a lot of times we let you touch us in ways we don't like because we don't want to hurt your feelings. You're not good at it. You're just not good at it. And you won't have a conversation asking what we like. And if we try to have a conversation, you might just get offended. I mean, that's how it is. very fragile egos whose penises get to come all the time and who don't always make us orgasm. And we just deal with it. And I just, baffling. So this is a PSA. This is a PSA to the penises. It's a penis PSA. To have a conversation with your partner, and I mean that, like, sincerely. If you have a partner, sit down with her and just ask her if she actually likes the things you do and if she's satisfied, and if there's something you could change, or if there's something you could do more of, or if there's something you want her to do. Like, have a conversation, because we don't talk enough about sex. I know there's porn everywhere, but porn is just silly, man. Like, I love giving blowjobs. I think they're so much fun. There's so much control. I am very good at it. I love them. If you shove my head down to your dick, I'm not going to want to do it. You know, porn gives these expectations that things are going to happen. If porn was real, I would have never been disappointed with the size of a penis in my lifetime. But some of y'all got little baby dicks. It happens. That's fine. There are ways to get around that, legitimately. Some of you don't last longer than a minute. I mean, I'm not going to lie. Like I said, her body is a wonderland. She is fantastic. I don't ever win the race. I do not ever win the race. I, as a matter of fact, get stuck back at the starting gate sometimes. Like, there is no, what is the name of that horse? Secretariat. I am not Secretariat. I'm never Secretariat. I do not win the race. Just saying, you know, there are ways to get around the fact that I am not Secretariat and you have finished first. There just are. There's so many ways to change the narrative around sex. It's like pooping. People get so weird about pooping. Everybody poops. Everybody poops. Again, like I've said, I cleaned so many houses and nobody has a healthy gut. They don't. I know this. Because if you make the mess in the toilet that you make in the toilet, you need probiotics, right? So, in this sense, just talk to your partners, man. It's crazy to me the amount of things we just won't talk about. Like, we just won't say it out loud. And it makes it so much better. I love sex. I love sex. There's so many pieces of sex that I enjoy. I don't have very many no's. I do have some, but I don't have very many. And so it's very easy to, I'm very easy to talk to about it. I'm very easy. Clearly I'm easy to talk to about anything. I just don't care. But it doesn't have to be a hard conversation. It just needs to be an honest one. Like, there are things, if you are a grown up and you've had sex with more than one person, which if you've only had sex with one person, that is nuts. Good for you, I guess. Also, the idea that people have that have had sex with a lot of people versus fewer people. Look, if you've had sex 1,000 times with 1,000 people, you've still had sex the same amount of times. As long as it doesn't come away with diseases, it doesn't fucking matter. And most diseases, medication stops everything. None of it matters. It's just a number, right? If you have 1,000 kids, that's a different story. Also, that vagina is not going to be the same. 1,000 kids' vagina is not the same as no kid's vagina. Sorry for your luck, ladies who have had a bunch of kids. You probably got a looser vagina than I do because I've had none. And that's just, there's only so much elasticity. But you should be able to talk about sex. And men, just ask the women, because I'm telling you, I have spent my entire life in an orgasmic deficit. I know that sounds stupid, but it isn't. Like, I shouldn't not matter in bed. And it's not like guys go out of their way not to give you an orgasm or whatever, but it happens, and then it happens again. And then it happens again. And I have either not had them or faked them for a majority of my life. And the idea of that is super frustrating. And it should be super frustrating for men. And you should know that if you think the person you're with has never faked it, you're probably wrong. I can't say it unequivocally, but like I used to work with this dude, and he was, well, he was just, it was, we saw pictures. It was very small. He's just not attractive. It was a whole thing, right? And he was, every girl I've been with has had an orgasm. No, they have not. And I was like, how? Were they all squirters? And he was like, well, no. And I was like, well, then you don't know. You don't know. You literally don't know. Having a conversation with your partner is a big deal. And I think that having conversations with your children is a big deal too. I don't think you should tell them. Like on that show, man, her mom's a little too happy for her to be as loose as she is, which, I mean, my parents talked to me about sex. Not in a, here's free reign, go get it. Like it was honest about risks and stuff like that. But, my parents also weren't stupid. And the idea that you're not going to do things as a teenager is ridiculous. It's the same way they're probably going to drink. Hopefully, if they try drugs, they're safe. Like, things happen as teenagers. But I think that you can have conversations with your kids, especially the girls, and let them know that their pleasure matters too. You know, not just, it just doesn't always have to be about the boy. And I find that especially as teenagers, everything tends to be about the boys because the girls just want someone to like them. And then I don't know why we carry that with us for so long. I mean, it took me until I was in my 40s to realize that I love me. You know, the idea that there has to be this relationship between two people, that's not necessarily for me. I don't know that I believe in monogamy. I mean, there are all these people out there who like start dating someone and then it's immediately, I found my person and I found my forever and I found my everything. Cool. Good for you. How? And why would you put all of that on one person? That's super unfair. I would never put that on anybody. My dogs fill my cup and my friends fill my cup. And there's so many of them to fill it for different reasons. My family fills my cup. I fill my own fucking cup. As far as I'm concerned, I'm my own damn soulmate. And anybody else who gets to hang out with me is just lucky and extra bonus for me, right? Like, and now what I've learned, and it's taken so long, is that not only am I enough for me, but my pleasure matters too, right? It's not just about the man. And so I just think that moms, talk to your daughters when they're of an age where this is going to matter. And men, talk to your partners because you really don't know how satisfied they are until they ask. And make them tell you the truth. Because we are working at a deficit. From the moment we have sex, we don't start the game in the plus column. We just don't. And we just don't. Sex is for men. And it should be for women. Because I got to tell you, I can have a lot more orgasms than you can during one bout of sex. And mine last a lot longer and are a hell of a lot more powerful. But the only person who has ever always made me come is me. And I don't make me shave my legs to do it. You know, I am by far the best date I have. And I know that men can masturbate too, but I'm going to guarantee you that if you hung out with me and I pleasured you, you would come. Can you say the same? Because I'm betting you can't. Just say. So maybe it is time that we figure out, maybe we start having sex classes. I'm sure there's somewhere. They had one in Sex and the City in the show. I don't know. I think these would be good conversations to have. Sorry for your egos, boys. Mom, I hope you didn't listen to this because it'll be weird. But yes, that was what my day was like. I cleaned 3 houses. I thought about how everybody's a bad driver. And then I thought about how women don't have enough orgasms over their lifetime because men are selfish lovers. So that is where I am today. I appreciate you guys. If you came back, if you've listened to any of these, this is by far, I think it's leaning into the unhinged a bit. But I really appreciate anybody who's still sticking around for these because I know it's a bunch of nonsense. Yeah. So I guess that's all I've got for today. I will see you guys soon. Wolverines. And all the boys I've loved and lost. Bye, guys.